Welcome back, accounting students. We are currently working on Chapter 12. Chapter 12 deals with payroll, and we are all the way up to Lesson 4 in Chapter 12, which deals with preparing payroll checks. And so the two learning objectives for this particular lesson: justify the use of a payroll checking account, and then also preparing employee payroll checks. So one thing that you would want to know is that businesses all use a separate payroll checking account to process all their payroll information from. And one of the biggest reasons that they do that is that they can put the exact amount that they need for payroll into that account. And then if there was any discrepancy or any fraudulent activity on payroll checks, then right away the bank would be able to notify a company so that they wouldn't be having a bunch of checks going through their account that were for the wrong amount or that would be causing the account to go negative. So it's really pretty easy for a company to keep track of payroll this way and to make sure that there's no fraud happening on the payroll account. Now, all they would do is just take the sum of whatever they need to do in payroll and transfer that into the payroll account when payroll is processed, just to make sure they have enough money in there to cover all of the checks. So one of the things that you want to know is that a voucher check, this is a payroll check that where an employee receives an actual paper check when they get paid. So a voucher check has a detachable check stub or voucher that contains all the detailed information about their pay. So a voucher check, when it prints through your payroll, through your printer and through your payroll system, what you'll see is the amount of the check and then who it's being issued to and the amount it's issued for. So this first example is this is the total payroll that we're going in, but then we're moving forward here. The actual employee's payroll check, where you're looking at that voucher, what you're seeing is all the employees' hours that are worked, so regular hours plus any overtime, the rate at which they're paid, and then their gross pay amounts. There are year-to-date totals information provided on every single paycheck. And then there's also current and year-to-date information for all of the deductions or withholdings from a payroll check. Federal income, Social Security, Medicare, health insurance, any retirement contributions, so that employees can see at any given time what their totals are for their current pay period and what their totals are for the year. And then you would want to just make sure that that information is always adding up to the information you have in your accounting records. Now, I mean, it's also important to really pay attention to the fact that all of this information needs to balance out or match to what you have going on in your accounting records for the company. Now, as we move forward, many companies these days are using electronic funds transfer or direct deposit, where they're putting the amount of money that an employee receives directly into their payroll check directly into their bank account on payday. That's how I get paid. It's actually considerably less money for employers to pay their employees using electronic funds transfer or direct deposit. So most companies that are large enough are moving this direction. So what you'll see here is an example of the stub or the voucher that has all the employees' information on it, but then down at the bottom it very clearly says, hey, this is not a check, it's non-negotiable, it cannot be deposited. And this just is a record of how much the employee is receiving on payday. Depending on where you work, your employer may print this for you and give it to you, or they may just say it's available in an electronic format, go find it in a specific location. All right, so in this particular lesson, we're saying, why does 3Green or this business have a separate checking account for payroll checks? And the answer is really to help and control payroll payments and to make sure that all of the payroll checks that are issued have enough space to record all the earning and deduction information so that they can use special checks for payroll when they're functioning this way. What is the source of the information that is recorded on each employee's payroll check voucher? And this is really important as we think through what's going to be the source document that we're going to use to generate payroll. And that's going to be the payroll register or the employee earning record, and then any prior paycheck stub records as well. So those prior paychecks, that's how we get to our year-to-date information. That payroll register records all of our payroll for the pay period, and then the employee earning record gives us specific information per employee. How do payroll procedures differ for employees who request direct deposit of their pay? Well, remember, if you're getting direct deposit, you're not actually getting a check. That money is going directly from your employer's account into your own account. So individual checks are not written out. They're just, the stub information is printed out. So sometimes you will receive an actual paper copy of that stub, and sometimes you'll just receive notification that it's available for you to go find electronically yourself. All right, so from here you just want to make sure you have all of your forms completed, all of your work together and on your own is completed, and then you can move into the application section for Chapter 12. There is a challenge and a mastery, and there is also a source document section for this particular chapter, so please make sure you check in on the source documents problem for Chapter 12 to make sure that you have some more information about preparing the semi-monthly payroll. Good luck!